I'm going to now only be doing videos every Friday, kind of like a show. If you're not looking for following somebody's life for 3 hours, save yourself the time. Jesus holding a rainbow flag and stabbing a zombie. Pretty cool. Hi, welcome to Queer Fudanshi, where I share LGBTQ and BL Media through news, reviews, and good conversation. My name is Devin Jackson Randall, and today is Friday, and today is a new special video. Specifically, I'm now going to be doing every one of my usual videos into one. But to talk about that more, let's get on with the random talk. So the topic of this week's random talk is I'm doing all the videos into one. The reason for this is that, as I said in last week's video, I am very busy right now. I'm currently assisting with a play in Philly. It's a Mother Emanuel play. It's basically focusing on the Mother Emanuel shooting, well, specifically on the people who were shot in that killing. It's about their lives. Who were they as people? What are some of their stories? And then what were they like as a community? It's about community. It's about faith. It's about the love of a people. I really do think it is very loving. It has a lot of culture and history in it. And I think this could be a play that could eventually keep on going and going and going. So I'm happy to be a part of it. So if you guys are interested in that play and want to see it, come on down to Philly. It's performing at the end of June. And anyway, this was not supposed to be about like a publicity thing. So I'm going to now only be doing videos every Friday. That means that I'm going to now have like a kind of like a show out of this, and then there'll be different segments, which will be the segments you guys already know. The random talk like this, the last week's crew reviews, where instead of maybe doing every review that I did in the week, I'll pick highlights, things that I specifically really liked and really want to talk about with you guys. Of course, non-spoilers as always. If you guys want the spoilers, link in the description, though the blog posts also have a non-spoiler paragraph. And then of course I'll have the news as always. And I figured these will be around 10 minutes for each one, and this will be around a 30-minute video. I'll see when I'm editing if that actually becomes a reality. But yeah, this is something that I've been thinking about doing for a while. I have another gig that's coming in July, so I knew I would have to do it for then. And now that I have this gig, I just figured let's just jump into it. So this is a kind of a trial run. If you guys are interested in seeing the format like this, let me know down in the comments below. Going with that, this gives me something to kind of explore and something new to try out. Like, how am I going to do transitions for this? This is something new for all of us, and I hope you guys are interested in checking it out. I said that this segment and all the other ones would be about 10 minutes, but I really don't have anything else to say about this topic. So if you guys are interested in anything, if you have any questions or whatever else, let me know down in the comments below. I will, of course, respond to you. So moving on to last week's crew reviews. This is going to be like the original videos, but one, I'm like a month behind. Sorry about that. And because of that, I'm going to be doing highlights of blog posts that I've done in the past month. And I figured that'll probably be what I do for these 3-in-1 videos. I just really want to make sure that I get the highs and the lows and still make the time of 10 minutes. So let's get started. First, we're going to be talking about Blue is the Warmest Color. This is a French film, a French lesbian film that came out back in 2013 on Sundance. It was like the hit of the year at Sundance. This is a coming-of-age, slice-of-life kind of story, right? It follows teenager Adele, who doesn't feel comfortable in her life. She doesn't really like her boyfriend, but she's with him. She just feels like something's off. Her best friend takes her to a gay club, and then she stumbles her way into a lesbian bar, and she meets this girl with blue hair named Emma. And then the movie follows their very passionate and hot relationship from there. And it follows Adele's life for a couple of years. My thoughts on this film is that it's interesting. It's very artistic, very philosophical, and you can see that. But at the same time, you very much feel every minute of these 3 hours. Honestly, I'm happy having seen this film, but at the same time, if you're not looking for an artsy film, if you're not looking for a slice of life just following somebody's life for 3 hours, then save yourself the time. In addition to that, the film has very graphic sex. So if you're not okay with very graphic, hardcore sex, like full frontal, full all nudity, like good for the actors for their commitment, then don't watch the film. But once again, it's very artistic, very philosophical. So if you're into that kind of thing, go check it out. Next we have Ok Bangkok, which is a Thai web series. It was originally created by a company that focuses on HIV prevention and HIV facts, testing, things like that. And the film kind of focuses on that kind of story, the web series, excuse me. It is a web series that's a lot like Queer as Folk, if you know that. Queer as Folk, if you don't know, was first a UK TV show that, fun fact, was created by the original showrunner of the renewed Doctor Who series, Russell T Davies. Queer as Folk was then created into a Canadian and American TV show. Not very diverse. So the show is a lot like Queer as Folk, where it's about, this very sexually freeing guy who's always hooking up with somebody and his nerdy best friend. And it really focuses on their relationship, focuses on some other characters. One guy who is young 20s, wants to go out and be sexually freeing and really doesn't know what he really wants. So it's an interesting story for that. If you are interested in like a Queer as Folk, Sex in the City, people living their lives, very LGBT. It's not a BL because it is very much focused on actual LGBT life. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. It's a web series, only 5 episodes you can find here on YouTube. Next we have Check Please, which is a webcomic. It is a very nice and light and happy webcomic that you can find either on its official website or on Tumblr. Essentially, it's about a former figure skater from South Carolina who's also gay, who decides to go to a New England school, very much kind of like an Ivy League, Harvard, Yale type of school, which actually, fun fact, the creator of the story actually went to Yale, so that's why she kind of gave that feel to the school. But essentially, he goes there to play for their hockey team because he has to, get a scholarship so he can actually go to the school. And he creates these best friends, and there's really kind of like a frat boy kind of feel to the team, but they take him in under their wing and he becomes best friends with them, and then a relationship also forms. This is really a comic about friendship, college life, fraternity, and love later on. Honestly, I couldn't say how much I love the story because it was just really, really fun. I kept on reading it. I binge read it in one go, and I'm sad I had to stop. It is truly wonderful. It is really about friendship, and it really is about like college life. It made me want to go back to college. And in addition to that, it has this very wholesome and healthy love that comes later on in the story. And the creator has already said that she is going to keep it that way. There's going to be no like angst, no like fighting for no reason, just for drama's sake. They're going to be a solid rock and solid relationship built on communication. So if you're interested in a story like that, go check it out. Link in the description, as always. Next we have Brown Girls, which is a web series about these 2 best friends. They are living in Canada, living together, and they're kind of having problems in their lives and sticking together through it all. One is a South Asian American girl who is just dealing with her queerness. She has a on-standing kind of sex buddy relationship who wants to define the relationship. And she's like, I don't know what I want. And then in addition to that, another one is dealing with her parents kind of divorcing, and she's also dealing with the fact that she's a musician who hasn't really performed in a year. And like, how do I achieve my artistic goals, right? I really like this story because it really just flows. It's a very binge-watchy kind of web series where I was just continuously watching and losing myself in it. The characters are realistic, the relationships are fun and kind of like true to specifically my life as a person of color and a queer person of color here in America. In addition to that, the way that they spoke was just so fluid. I honestly, at a few times was like, no, you're faking. They had to be ad-libbing. Honestly, I love this web series and I highly recommend you all check it out. Really, it is that good. Though, know that it is a very simple story of just a slice of life kind of story, and it's simple, but it's very effective. Lastly, we have Fujoshi trapped in the Seme's perfect body. Fujoshi trapped in the Seme's perfect body, or Fujoshi trapped, I'll call it to shorten it. Essentially is a American/Philippines comic. It is created by the Yaoi Army, which is a production company that was created about a year or two ago by a man who just discovered yaoi and decided, I love this, I want to contribute to it. And I really support him in that. The story is about a Fujoshi who is very obsessed with gay sex, really. She's obsessed with men to the point that she loves seeing men doing other men, and she really wants to take part in that. So she one day saves an older woman who gives her a magical locket saying, just make a wish and it'll come true. And she wishes to become a man so that she can engage in gay sex, right? And then she's kind of like, what now? That's kind of the premise that leads into this volume. And if you guys are interested in checking that out, I'll have a link in the description as always. My thoughts about Fujoshi though are not good. Honestly, I think I'm going to drop this series. It's not that it's terrible, it's just it's terribly not for me. The BL world sometimes is not really for LGBT people, even though it's about LGBT people, right? It's really about the sexuality of these women who are into men kissing other men, right? And normally I'm okay with that, I'm with that, and I still participate in that, but this comic seems like an extreme parody of the concept of Fujoshi life, right? At first, the Fujoshi Misa is very fun and engaging, but then once you really hear or think about what she's saying, you realize that she's talking about rape. She's very much exploiting gay life and gay love and gay sex for her own purposes, and it's really, she's an extreme to the point that I can't get behind it. I want to support the Yaoi Army, but I can't support this comic anymore. It's just, it goes too far. And that's it for this last week's reviews. Let's go on to the news. For our first queer quota story, we're going to be talking about Blessed Virgin. Blessed Virgin is a film that's currently in the works. It's going to be run by the Golden Globe winning director of Elle, and it's going to star Virginie Efira. It's a true story about a nun named Sister Benedetta Carlini. Specifically, this sister one day announced that she had been visited by Jesus. A whole bunch of nuns would let her do lectures and things, but then she started to get a little crazy with her predictions. She was saying again that Jesus wanted to meet her and wanted to marry her, saying that she was being visited by angels and God. And then she was put into an investigation. It was found out later that she was actually having a lesbian relationship with one of her nuns, and she was eventually kicked out and even sent to a convent prison for 35 years before she then died. So this is going to be a kind of tragic, true story. If you guys are interested in the movie, there'll probably be a few adult scenes, heads up, and look out for it. Next, BioWare is putting the Mass Effect series as a whole on the back burner. If you guys don't know, the Mass Effect series is a sci-fi video game series that's about space exploration of the human race. We get a special technology that allows us to kind of advance our technology for thousands of years. We go out, we discover aliens, we discover alien threats, and we discover a main character who goes out to kind of save the universe, right? And then this new video game that came out just a couple months ago, Mass Effect Andromeda, was a kind of start to a new series, or it was supposed to be, but it got a very conflicted review. Half people loved it, half people hated it, and so right now, BioWare has decided to kind of slow it down for a bit. They're allocating their resources from the original production team into being a support team for other games, and right now we don't know anything about like DLC or any works for a continuing sequel game. All we know is that they're kind of stopping for a second. Next, God's Own The Country to Open is coming out for the Edinburgh Film Festival this year. This was another movie which somehow I had missed that got a lot of attention at Sundance this year. There were a lot of LGBT Sundance films this year. It's going to have its first Britain premiere at this film festival, the Edinburgh Film Festival. It's being described as this British Brokeback Mountain, and the story, it stars Josh O'Connor as a young sheep farmer carrying the weight of his family's business alone. When his father hires a Romanian migrant worker played by Alex Secaranu, and the pair begins to work closely together during a lambing season, an intense relationship develops. But when family misfortune increases Josh's responsibilities, his secret romance becomes harder to sustain. So if you guys are interested in that, once again, it's going to be playing at the Edinburgh Film Festival this year, and then maybe it'll come into the regular movie theaters later on. There's a new short film that's focusing on a lot of the tragedy that's happening in Chechnya right now. If you guys don't know, a lot of LGBT people, and specifically gay men, are being targeted and killed in Chechnya right now. There are a whole bunch of news reports of it happening. I'll put a few links in the description below. This short film, which is a little over 3 minutes, was first a play that was really talking about this kind of tragedy that's happening in Chechnya right now. And then they decided that this is working and people like this and people want to know more. So let's create a short film about it. It's called Unchechen, which you can actually watch for free. I'll have a link in the description below to where you can watch it on video. Next, The Walking Dead has a special cover, limited time cover for Pride Month. If you guys don't know, Pride Month is a celebration here in America and all over, where we focus on the Stonewall riots that happened a few decades ago, back in 1968, I believe, and that was when one club was tired of being terrorized by the police there, and they fought back. And that kind of helped skyrocket the gay rights movement here in America and in the world overall. In addition to that, The Walking Dead made news covers in the past year because of their character Jesus, nickname, came out as gay. So this cover shows Jesus holding a rainbow flag and stabbing a zombie. Pretty cool. In addition, MegaCon is going to be honoring the victims of the Pulse shooting by having a Love is Love section of their convention. Love is Love was a DC-created comic that was celebrating the Pulse victims and their lives, and celebrating gay pride, and also in addition to that, raising funds to support the victims of that shooting. And so this is going to be the same thing at MegaCon. They're having a whole bunch of events like a cocktail hour, a gallery, to kind of raise funds for the Pulse victims and their families. This convention is happening in the last weekend of this month, May. So if you guys are in the Orlando area, go check it out. Next, I have 2 Kickstarters for you guys. First, Magical How, which is actually based off of a webcomic, and this is a Kickstarter to help make a printed version of that webcomic. And the story is about Gabe and Booker, who are 2 normal college guys sharing an apartment and failing spectacularly at love. One day, a talking golf ball named Hall lands in their lives and offers them magical powers, and despite it being a terrible idea, Gabe signs up immediately. Now he must don the admittedly flattering dress of a magical girl and fight for love and justice, while Booker, blinded by the sparkles, wants nothing to do with any of it. I've not actually checked out this webcomic, but I think the pictures look familiar to me, so I've probably seen it somewhere, and I don't know, I'll check it out and then maybe I'll back it. Will you? Lastly, for our core quota, Fire Island is getting an 8-bit video game, though the Kickstarter's not doing well. If you guys don't know, Fire Island is kind of like a prime gay vacation spot for the LGBT community, specifically for gay men. And so this one creator thought, let's create a video game about that. The game is formatted like the old Legend of Zelda or Pokemon games, and this game really focuses on a bunch of events that your character can do that focuses on real events that you would find at this spot. You can rent a house, cruise parties, meet drag queens, so on and so forth. There's a link to the Kickstarter down below. That said, it's not looking good. They have less than a week left, and they only have 100 out of thousands of dollars they're asking for. But I guess look out for it in the future. Now for our BL bits, or our BL and Yaoi Media stories. First, we're going to be talking about Teisho and Meibus line. This isn't much of a story. I've already talked about this kind of earlier. They're making a short form anime. I talked about that back in November or so, and not a lot of news has come out about that. We know it's coming out this year, but that said, they're starting to work on the publicity for it a little bit more. They've created a website and a Twitter account, so look out for news for that in the very near future. Next, Full Service, the BL visual novel, is hugely successful. If you guys didn't know, this is a BL visual novel that is on Kickstarter right now. It actually just finished and is so hugely successful that it's ridiculous. Literally, they only asked for $20,000 and ended up getting more than $90,000. That is so overly successful that it honestly kind of blows me out of the water. The story is supposed to focus on an office worker who really is kind of like very hard about his job. He goes to a massage parlor or a spa and ends up picking whoever he wants to be his masseuse. That's really all we know about the story so far, because it really is just in the very beginning of its production. Yet, so many people are now funding it to help it become a reality. It's actually going to take longer to come out now because of all this money that they have to allocate and use somehow. But it's very exciting. In addition, the June manga and Psycho Delico Kickstarter is still going. They have a little bit less than a week left. It is fully backed. They asked for $47,000 and they currently, as I'm looking at it, have $51,000. In addition to that, if you guys like I Know Kusabe, you can also back it about $80 and then end up getting that entire series, all 8 or 9 volumes, I believe. But then you don't get the Psychedelico volumes, just a heads up. If you guys are interested in any of that, go look it up, link in the description. Lastly, Sakura Tempest is another visual novel that's coming out. It's another visual novel that's getting a Kickstarter. It's the first attempt at a visual novel by a creator named D. Ket. It is going to be a high school romance where you play as a character who is just a freshman in high school, kind of exploring his new high school life. And he meets these 4 characters, one being his best friend, one is the head of a sports team that he's in, one is a delinquent, and one is a kind of academic upperclassman. And you can get to know these people. They kind of do a whole bunch of things to your life, and then in addition to that, you can fall in love with them. If you guys are interested in backing this visual novel, it has more than a month to be backed. It's only asking for $7,000 and already has $3,000. So if you want to back it and help it become a reality, you can do so. Link in the description. And that's it for whatever I'm going to call this 3-in-1 video. Do you like the format? Do you not like it? Do you have any thoughts on any of the stuff I talked about? Any of the media, any of the news, whatever else? Let me know down in the comments below and let's get talking. And as always, if you like this video, make sure to like it, share it with your friends, and to subscribe if you haven't already. Fudanshi tries to share LGBTQ and BL Media through news, reviews, and good conversation. So let's get talking. Bye. I said that this segment and all the other segments would be about 10 minutes, but I really don't have anything else to say about this topic. So if you guys